I'm going to be sharing easy ways to get our most important, I think, macronutrient into our diet more easily, and that is protein. If you want to age well, if you want to have that energy, burn fat effectively, build lean muscle, or not lose the muscle that you currently have. So welcome to my channel. My name is Kate Hartley. I share a weekly video with you every Monday around something related to menopause. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss future episodes. If there's anything you'd like me to cover in a future episode, just drop it in the comments below and I would be glad to add that to my rotation. Or find me on Instagram at Kate Hartley UK. You can message me more privately there if you have anything you wanted not to share in the public domain. Make sure in the description box there is a guide to powerful proteins. It's a freebie. It breaks down sort of most important food sources that give you the biggest bang for the buck as far as protein goes. So as we get through the menopause and beyond, why do we need more protein? Basically, our ability to synthesize protein so that the protein we actually eat, we don't put it to as much good use as we did in our younger years. Also, we tend to be more sedentary. So we're needing more protein to keep our muscles stronger. If we're not using our muscles, which is highly likely because we do less, it is that they're going to break down more quickly. As estrogen falls, cortisol rises, and cortisol has a catabolic effect on the body, which is why we get more wrinkles, things start to get droopy, but we also lose our muscle tone. If you know of anyone who's been in hospital for any length of time, the food there isn't great, and it's probably not very protein centric, but also because they're not moving, they lose weight so fast, and a lot of that is their muscle mass vanishing pretty much, and it's quite hard to get back. If you or a loved one is in hospital right now, make sure that you're giving them protein, healthy protein foods to keep them going. Talk very much about fat loss, not weight loss. Now, it might be that you have no fat loss to lose. Somebody was very offended the other day because I invited her to my body recomposition group, and the vast majority of us want to lose an extra few pounds. Obviously, she didn't have any weight to lose, but she was most offended that I had invited her to this group. And at the end of the day, it's just like, well, no matter what you weigh, skinny is not healthy either. We want to be focusing on building lean muscle. We want to be focusing on strength as we get older, because we do get more frail. Our balance goes off. The amount, I can't remember what the stat is, but for those people who break a hip and go into hospital, a huge amount of those do not come out. Not necessarily directly related to the hip fracture or the pelvic fracture itself, but to things that they pick up or develop while they're in hospital. On top of that, of the muscle wastage that you get. So focusing on lean muscle building is a vital component of a healthy life through and beyond menopause. And a lot of women say to me, I don't want to strength train, I don't want to get bulky. You won't. We don't have enough testosterone in our bodies. So there is absolutely no way. You may have a predisposition to be more muscular genetically, but you're never going to bulk up like a man would bulk up. So that is a complete myth. Focus on eating plenty of protein as well as the other macronutrients. We need our fat, we need our healthy carbs, but protein is something that you really do need to focus more on as you go through the menopause and beyond. So protein is literally the building block of life. In fact, in my body competence group today, I've been talking about collagen and how important that is for not just our skin, our hair, our nails, our bones, our joints, but also gut health. The body is, there are so many interlinked things that go on in the body. So it's not just about one individual aspect that's going to make a huge difference. We need to be able to absorb the nutrients from the food that we're eating. So our gut health does need to be good. And if you're struggling with leaky gut, really focus on eating healthy gut bacteria, or even getting a gut health test so that you can see, what levels of what percentages of various gut bacteria you have going on. So that if you've got too many of certain types, you can cut, you can adjust them by taking what's known as a capsule or something similar, and it just helps to like you can put it sort of mouth down or bum up, and you can then it can help repopulate your gut with the bacteria that you need in order to then get the nutrition out of the food that you're eating. So gut health is a really important part of this as well. But a lot of us struggle to eat enough protein. So how much protein do you need to be eating? 1 gram of lean protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if you want to weigh 140 pounds, you want to be eating around about 140 grams of lean protein. There's also been a lot of research done on if you can front stack your first meal, so your breakfast, whatever time that happens to be, and your last meal with a higher amount of protein, so up to around about 50 grams, then that can also serve you even better. Intermittent fasting is something that I get asked a lot about, and I used to do intermittent fasting, absolutely loved it. It really suited the way I eat. I don't really like eating very much in the morning, and it was just not, it wasn't suiting me any longer. I found that I was struggling more in my workouts, but also I was getting belly fat again, and the whole reason I started it was to lose the belly fat. And I really had to take a leap of faith, so I started having a protein-centric pre-workout meal, which was Greek yogurt, berries, millet, linseeds, some protein powder, etc. And then after my workout, I'd have a protein-centric post-workout meal. So that was normally eggs, vegetables. I've just started baking my own sourdough bread, so around a sourdough toast. And that actually has made a big difference. I've been doing less workouts. I've been following a program recently, which is just 20-minute workouts, all body weight. So it's not even like lifting heavy weights. And my muscle tone has significantly improved. It's quite incredible how it's worked, because I didn't expect it to. So sometimes we just have to have that mindset where we're willing to try different things if what used to work no longer does. Because if what used to work no longer does, then you have to change something up. And the women that I work with, we are generally perimenopausal or postmenopausal. We're all sort of pretty much middle age, and we are all having success with focusing on more protein, because it builds lean muscle. It boosts your metabolism. When you're eating the protein, you're feeding your muscles with what they need. Muscles really are the currency of longevity. We need to be fueling the body with protein. Protein also uses up more calories to digest. So it keeps you fuller for longer too. You cannot really go wrong with eating more protein. Today I had I stacked I stacked my pre-workout and post-workout meal together. I had my pre-workout meal first, and then immediately followed on with my post-workout meal. That was, well, probably about 4 hours ago, and I'm still stuffed. I am so full. The protein will keep you fuller for longer, but it also, like I said, boosts your metabolism. So you're burning more calories by not actually doing anything more. It doesn't really have too much of a spike on your insulin levels, which is also something we need to be more aware of as we go through menopause, because we just become less sensitive to insulin. Cortisol and falling estrogen has an impact on that too. So we really need to be focusing on eating the foods that are not going to trigger our insulin too much, which is why if you can cut out or significantly reduce refined sugars, cakes, biscuits, pastries, you're going to do yourself a huge favor, but also focus on more protein-centric foods. Before I started measuring and tracking the protein that I was eating, I thought, oh, I'm easily eating enough protein. I was not. I was way under eating. And the vast majority of us, particularly UK and States and possibly Canada, we are eating probably around 50 to 60% of the protein that we actually need to be eating. If you're looking at RDA, those are minimum amounts. Those are literally minimum amounts to not suffer significant consequences. And people do say, well, what about kidney disease or, uric acid and that sort of thing? If you have a problem with your kidneys, then you're probably not going to want to eat as much protein as somebody who doesn't have a problem with their kidneys. But the vast majority of us do need to be eating more protein. And I say gauge it. Use yourself as a guinea pig. See where you're at now. Make a few changes. Maybe start, if you're doing strength training already, go you. Kudos to you, because you definitely need to be. And if you're not, start. Again, in the description box, click the Sparkle Back form and I will be in touch with you. I have all sorts of resources I can send your way that will support you and help you. I even have access to like 120 plus free workouts that you can have immediate access to if you want. So and there's all sorts, but largely strength training, and they're also categorized by your ability level, and you really can't go wrong. They're fabulous stuff. So yeah, there are always the few who might not be able to eat as much protein, but the vast majority of us need to. So it can be quite difficult to think, how the heck am I going to eat that much protein? I don't want to sit and eat a huge piece of meat, or you may not even eat meat. So how are you going to do that? And there's also the argument about, is meat protein better than plant-based protein? And meat protein is more bioavailable to us. So our bodies synthesize meat protein more easily than plant-based protein. However, we have all the 9 essential amino acids, all 20 amino acids in plants as much as there are in meat. It might just mean that you need to, if you're vegan or vegetarian, make sure you're eating a wide range of different grains and legumes, so that you're making sure that you're getting a wide variety of different sources of food, of grains and legumes, so that you're getting those, you know, you're making sure that you get those essential and non-essential amino acids. There are people out there that say that meat, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you cannot get the right amount of essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. Yes, you can. And I think we need to be very inclusive in our conversations around this. There's a lot of food warriors out there, and there is no, I think if what you're doing is suiting you and you're happy on it and you have the right levels of energy, you're able to create lean muscle and you're not losing lean muscle, you're feeling energized and your hormones feel balanced, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not, then change something and be willing to trial and error a few things. It doesn't take long. You know, maybe try something 2 weeks and see, am I actually feeling better? And track it so that you know, is your mood improved? Are your symptoms reducing? Your menopause symptoms reducing? Have you got better endurance through your strength training programs? Track it and see, because then you can, you know, you can, data doesn't lie. And it won't take long for you to then realize. I think the most important thing to take from this is, if you're doing like high level cardio, you're probably breaking down the muscles more quickly than you're actually building them up. While cardio, I know you can get that cardio high and you might love it. As we get through menopause and beyond, we really do need to be incorporating strength training and high intensity interval training. So that's a really great form of cardio, because it's spiking your, you know, your respiratory system, your cardiovascular system over a short period of time, but not so long that it's increasing your cortisol levels. You really need to be mindful of keeping your stress hormones down as you go through the menopause and beyond. So strength training combined with 1 or 2 sessions of high intensity interval training through the week are really going to benefit you. If you're brand new to exercise, I would try and add strength training maybe 3 times a week. Strength training, if it's a good strength training program, that will also incorporate cardio naturally. But I would also add in 1 session of high intensity interval training, and it doesn't need to be long. You know, you can do like 30 seconds of bursts of activity, and I would follow a program if I were you. I'm not going to start advising different types of moves, but I would follow a program. Like I say, you can get access to over 120 different workouts free. Let me know if you'd like those, and I can send those in your direction. And it is all geared to your specific level of fitness as well. But that will serve you best, because then you're not risking injury from overworking different body parts, etc. So getting into the easy protein hacks. If you like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, you can pretty much add that to the vast majority of your meals. There is a really easy way of adding more protein quickly. So if you eat scrambled eggs, bung some cottage cheese in. Put put cottage cheese or Greek yogurt on your toast before you put your eggs on top. So I'm going to go through a few tips now. I am going to refer to my notes, because there's absolutely no way I can remember all the protein values and the fiber values, but I will add those in the description box below so that you've got those for easy reference too. So if you're eating carbs, why not eat carbs that are higher in protein? So say, for instance, a cup of white rice that has around about 4 grams of protein and about 1 gram of fiber. If you have a cup of amaranth or a cup of something like quinoa, you're looking at about 8 or 9 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber. That's a huge difference. I would also consider something like quinoa or cashew or rice or anything like that. You can add bone broth. You can actually cook that in bone broth, and that is also going to significantly improve the protein value of that rice or the quinoa or whatever it is that you're eating. It'll make it more flavorsome. It's also great for your gut health. Bone broth is brilliant for your gut health, and also obviously collagen levels. But that is, consider adding things like that. These are easy tweaks that you can do, and they'll make your meal more satisfying. They'll make it more flavorsome, and it's easy ways to get extra grams of protein in. Next tip is adding things like protein powder into your cereals or your smoothie or whatever you might have. I have my pre-workout meal is Greek yogurt, and I add like a sort of probably 1/5 of a sachet of my protein powder. It's not just protein powder, it has adaptogen herbs, It's really high in fibre, it's vitamins and minerals. It's like an all-inclusive superfood, but it also contains 18 grams of protein. So obviously different protein powders have different amounts of protein in them. But if you have a protein powder, and protein powders are a really easy, quick way of adding extra protein in. Do you need to have protein powders? No, I don't think you do. I think you could eat enough protein and get enough of the branched chain amino acids through your diet. But protein powders are brilliant if you're really busy and you're struggling to eat enough protein. So I'm not against protein powders at all. I have 2 a day. One is my superfoods one. And I also have a post-workout protein recovery drink, which has got 24 grams of protein in it per scoop. So already, you know, that's really contributing to my loading up of protein first thing in the morning, because that's when I do my workout. Just quickly on protein powders too, the vast majority of them will contain the branched chain amino acids that we need: leucine, flavine, and isoleucine. Leucine, there's a lot of research around leucine at the moment, and that is the major contributing amino acid for muscle development. So when you're getting if you get a protein powder, make sure it's high in leucine, because that is a key one if you're wanting to build lean muscle. So just going back, I add protein powders into as much as I can. So my pre-workout meal is Greek yogurt, protein powder, and also milled linseed or milled flaxseed. It's pretty much the same thing. That with then some berries on top makes a really satiating protein and fiber packed breakfast that I can have before my workout meal. That pre-workout meal gives me around about 15 grams of protein. So just get mindful of what you can add in. You could also add, if you have cereals in the morning, add protein powder into your milk or your water if you have something like oats. Be mindful of cereals, and cereals can contain a heck of a lot of sugar. They are so misleading on the food marketing labels. If you eat something like oats, you're safe. Something like probably Weetabix is pretty safe. Shredded wheat is pretty safe. But if you're turning your nose up at all those and thinking, oh no, I like my other ones that are designed for weight loss, apparently, they're not. They're jam-packed full of sugar. So just check your nutritional labels on the back, because you don't want to be doing all the good things and then eating way too much sugar, which is then helping speed up that catabolic process in your body, which is essentially undoing all the good that you're doing by eating the protein. Sugar is going to increase the inflammation in your body. It's going to rot your teeth. It's just, be really mindful of the cereals that you're feeding yourself and also your kids, because cereals on the whole they have a lot to be answerable for as far as weight gain goes, and just you know, they are marketed to be healthy and a lot of them aren't. If you like your soups, what I would do is add either a half tin or a whole tin of either white beans or lentils into your soup. It gives it a really lovely thick texture. You can't taste them, but it really adds extra protein and also fiber into your soup. So a half cup of white beans is 9 grams of fiber and 9 grams of protein, and I think 5 grams of fiber. And half a cup of lentils is 12 grams of protein and 9 grams of fiber. So lentils are even better. Lentils vary a little bit depending on what color lentil you have. For instance, green lentils are 12 grams of protein per half cup. Black lentils, 26 grams of protein per half cup. That's huge. So stock up on the black lentils. But can you just see there's really easy ways of adding extra protein? Again, you can add bone broth to your soup as long as you're not vegan or vegetarian. But that is going to also create so much more of a protein packed punch for you in a relatively small portion size. Cottage cheese, half a cup of cottage cheese is 12 to 14 grams of protein. I use cottage cheese for pretty much everything. I add it into baked potatoes. If I'm having egg on toast, which is normally my post-workout meal, I will have either, if I'm having scrambled eggs, for instance, I will put 2 eggs in the pan, I will mix them up, and then I will add probably a couple of tablespoons of cottage cheese in. Just gives it's a bit lumpy, but you can't really taste the cottage cheese, but it gives it a really powerful pack of extra protein. You can also add, if you don't want to do it that way, you just want like poached eggs on toast or even fried eggs, just put some cottage cheese on top of your toast and then add the eggs on top. I always cook with green beans as well, or spinach. I love adding vegetables to my eggs when I have them as my post-workout meal. It just gives you more fiber and it does keep you fuller for longer. Plus, vegetables, fruit, they contain so many vitamins and minerals, antioxidants that we need. So whenever I can add extra vegetables in, I will do. Or you could use Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt, pretty much the same as cottage cheese. Just substitute the cottage cheese with Greek yogurt, and you'll get the similar protein-packed meal. The other thing you can do is add egg whites. So we only need really our protein requirement per portion. So per meal, you'd want no more than 2 whole eggs. Whole eggs are brilliant, by the way. The nutrition that you get from a whole egg is fabulous. However, you don't need loads of egg yolks. So if you want to up your protein intake, I would have like 1 or 2 eggs plus maybe 2 egg whites. You can buy liquid egg whites out of a carton, and that is significantly going to also increase the amount of protein that you get from your meal. But get creative with cottage cheese, get creative with Greek yogurt. I love having a round of toast with some mashed avocado on it, and then I put some Greek yogurt on the top of that, and then I put a poached egg on top of that, and then I drizzle it with a little bit of lovely, lovely butter. I adore butter. Lovely butter with some paprika and cumin and chili and salt and black pepper. Maybe some parsley on top of that, and it makes an absolutely delicious meal. I don't like mixing tomatoes with egg, but if I did, I would also put some cherry tomato. I'd chop some cherry tomatoes up and put that on top of there as well. And then finally, protein shakes. If you're struggling to eat enough protein, consider a high quality protein shake. The Superfoods Adaptation Herbs shake that I have normally mid-afternoon, but I do have about a fifth or a sixth of a packet on my Greek yogurt in the morning. That contains 18 grams of protein. And then I have a muscle recovery drink that's got those 3 branch chain amino acids, particularly the leucine, which is absolutely key for the muscle development. That's got 24 grams of protein in it. And so I'm getting a good pack, an extra load of protein really simply. I just stick water in it and neck it, and that really helps me make sure that I'm getting enough protein in through food. Plus also, when you're eating a lot of protein rich foods, they can be I find them really filling. Breakfast that I had a while back now, several hours ago, I'm literally stuffed still, and I don't think I'm going to eat for another probably hour, 2 hours, probably another 2 hours time. And that will probably be my Superfoods Adaptation Herb shake, which I will blend up also with some either frozen cauliflower or frozen butternut squash, because again, it gets another veggie in, and maybe some frozen berries as well, and that makes a really, really healthy, light, protein packed, adaptogenic herbs. So adaptation herbs help us manage stress more effectively. So it also helps control cravings, and it reduces that cortisol response, which is good at keeping your belly fat down. And then I'll just have my evening meal. And that way I'm ticking my boxes to getting the right amount of protein in for my goals, which are focusing on lean muscle building. I don't want to get frail as I get older. Of course, we are all going to get more frail, but we really have to look at investing in ourselves. And if you've never done anything, it is never too late to start. And if you're already in a fitness regime, make sure that you're cutting down on your cardio and you're increasing your strength training. That can be body weight. It can be using resistance bands or loops. It can be dumbbells. It can be barbells in the gym. Just find something that works for you. That's the most important thing. There is no real, some people will recommend this, some people will recommend that. Do what works best for you. I love home workouts. I don't want to have to waste time going to the gym. I also don't want to use equipment that loads of other people have used and it's really sweaty. It's probably like a little bit kind of weird, but that's how I feel. I love being able to get out of my bed, put my leggings on, put my workout bra on, press play on the workout, and it's done. And I'm in and out of it within, I'm following this 20-minute workout program at the moment. It's so quick. The whole thing is done and dusted. I'm clothes on, workout done, in the shower and out of the shower within sort of 30 minutes. And that's what I love about it. Whereas if I had to go to the gym, I don't know, it'd probably be a 3-hour thing. So, it's find something that fits in with your lifestyle and something that you can keep up with consistently. If there's anything you would like me to cover in a future episode, just drop it in the comment or send me a message on Instagram. My link is in the description box below as well. But make sure you download that Powerful Proteins guide. It does break down the food sources for you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week.